Good morning, Commissioner Conway.
Good morning, sir.
Mining. I'm actually trying to return a voicemail from, I believe it was Wednesday afternoon.
Good morning, Mike. This is Dale.
Hey, Dale, how are you doing?
Good, just fine, thanks. How are you? Haven't seen you in a long time.
It's been a while. I should drop by your place sometime. We should chat.
Yeah, please do.
Do we have everybody on board? Is the AAG on board with us?
Do not see him yet.
I'll wait another moment. There's Andrew. Let me know when you see the Rick Zeiss joining us. I don't want to get started without the AAG on it since we're going to go in. I don't see him yet, do you? Does anybody see the AAG?
He's on there.
He's on. Is Rick Zeiss on?
He is not yet.
Okay.
We're trying to reach out to him right now.
Okay.
While we're waiting, I have a question that maybe somebody can answer. The the switching of the well designations for the P&A permits. The API means what?
Do you mean the API number and how it's assigned?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, so they're kind of auto-generated, and the first number in there refers to the county designation, and I can get you a list of what that first number. So it's assigned by the county and then sequentially after that.
okay.
Jack, API means the American Petroleum Institute.
Mhm.
And it's a national organization that everybody relies upon to enumerate wells. So it's more of a national database kind of number than our local state lease number, which I still like to use, but they're the most common form of well identification in the country.
Okay, who's speaking?
This is Jim Ballard.
Oh, Jim, hi. Yeah, that's, I knew it was API, American Petroleum Institute, but I wasn't aware of the numbering system. But now I am. Thank you.
Rick must be having some issues getting on.
Yeah, I sent him an email too, so.
Yeah, apparently our Google link is different than the meeting link, so he may be on that one. We didn't realize that. So that may
I
be.
think I'm here.
Okay, there he
You
is.
hear?
Yay!
Oh, perfect. Yay.
Okay, yeah,
Good.
I will update that for next time. I wasn't aware that was an issue, so apologies for that.
Thank
Not
you,
a
Samantha,
problem.
for that little note.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, it is 10:05 a.m. and this meeting of the Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Commission has come to order. I'm going to do a roll call. Commissioner Nations, are you here?
I'm here.
Commissioner Farbrand?
Present.
Commissioner Ballard?
Here.
Commissioner Conway?
I'm here.
And myself, Commissioner Thorwald. And we have AAG Rick Zeiss with us. Do we have anybody from the Land Department? Okay. Is there any conflicts of interest? Hearing none, let's move on to the item 2, administrator updates with Samantha Roberts. And we're going to take some things out of order today. And instead of going on to A, we're going to go directly to B.
Yeah.
And by everybody, when you speak, make sure you announce who you are first. So for the record.
This is Samantha Roberts. We're just briefly going to talk about item 2. This is a well that was abandoned in December, and it's on BLM land. So what they're doing is basically just providing us a notification for our files. This was also abandoned under the federal orphan well program. And since it is on BLM land, we don't approve it, but they do provide us with notification. Is there any questions in regards to this well?
Hearing no questions, we're going to take item A and C together, and this is confidential information, so we'll need to go into executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved. Commissioner Nation.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second, Commissioner Feyerabend.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll go into executive session. We'll be in it for about 15 minutes and come back out.
I'm working on that right now.
Okay. And when you come back out, be sure to that you don't click the right button, otherwise you'll completely come out of the meeting.
No. Nothing in there.
Think we got left behind, Dale?
No, you guys should have gotten an invite to the room.
Oh, yeah, it came on real fast and disappeared before I could
Okay,
click.
well, I'm trying to figure out, we practiced this numerous times and I don't know what's going on here. Okay. So it just ended the room. So I'm working on it, guys. Sorry about this.
No problem.
I ran through this. We did, all the best laid plans, right?
So just click on join as fast as you can.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the room. I'm going to assign here. Bill, Frank, Jack, Jim, Michael.
So are we supposed to join that then?
How do I get to the room? I'm having a hard time figuring out how I get to the room.
Are we all back? Yes.
I think Jim is still in the other room. I don't know why. Give him 20 seconds. Did Jim make it back?
See you, Wendy.
I see him there.
Okay. Then we're good. Thank you.
Now we're back out of executive session. Let us move on to back to Cobalt, item A on the agenda. Administrator Roberts, do you want to talk to us about that?
Sure. The Cobalt Well is has submitted a plugin application, and my recommendation would be to approve the plugin application.
Is there anybody here from Cobalt that wants to talk to us, address us?
Yes, Frank, this is Scott Bowles with Cobalt Group.
Scott, do you want to say anything?
No, I guess I would add that we've done everything we can to follow the regulations and have plugged it properly. So we've demonstrated that in the forms as well. We just sent the form to Samantha today.
Commissioners, do you have any questions for our administrator or for Scott? Hearing none, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept Cobalt's Form 9 for plugging and abandoning the well.
Was that Commissioner Ballard?
Yes, this is Commissioner Ballard.
Do we have a second?
This is Mike Conway. I second it.
Thank you, Mike. Now, did that include confidentiality in your motion?
Not at this time. I didn't hear that addressed.
Okay. Well, any other discussion? Is there any confidentiality needed here? Okay. We have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. Administrator Roberts, what is
Yeah,
next?
thank you, commissioners. One of the requests of the commission is to provide an update on the Texas training videos. And we've actually been working on that. Wendy Flood has been working on that and has some answers right now. The plan is to keep the training videos, while we can't necessarily keep that type of thing confidential, we do have a solution for providing those training videos to the commissioners, and it would be through our training website, and you would use your login to get into it, and then all other state employees would also be able to view these training videos. Wendy, I don't know if do you have any other additional things to add to that?
Yeah, and actually, right before the meeting, I got a different change of direction,
Oh,
unfortunately.
okay. Oh, sorry.
That's totally okay. They actually, it was determined that they actually could not go on Traycor.
Oh, okay.
We do need to find another solution. What was recommended was that we try to do something like a Google Drive that is restricted, like on our website, or some other option that way. So we will continue to work on that, and I will work with our communications and web team to see what we could do. But the Traycor option, because it's so specific, it won't work for the Traycor platform.
I do have a question here. From what I see on GERC, this is not an uncommon thing that I'm
Right.
suggesting here, is that We have on our existing website a password access that any of the state employees could go to, commissioners, and to access it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm coming in, kind of just try to figure out where things were left last time. So yes, I will pursue that options and see what we can do on the oil and gas website and explore it a little bit further. What the option that was given to me by my contacts, that was right before the meeting, and it was done in text. But the trade core is not an option, is kind of the bottom line.
Okay.
So sorry, Sammy. I seriously just
Oh,
got that
sorry.
like
Well,
20 minutes ago.
yeah. No, I'm glad you got an update. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
Different direction, not uncommon.
Yeah.
Commissioners, any questions about that? Comments? Moving on to the next item on the agenda.
Rules and legislation, timeframe updates. I unfortunately do not have any additional information to provide at this time, commissioners.
Any questions? Comments? Hearing none, let's move on to the Orphan Well program updates.
Good morning, commissioners. We're going to give a quick update. As you can see from the agenda, we've got the 02021050009 that was plugged last April. We also have 4 more that have been plugged within the last 3 weeks. Those numbers are 02017 05008, 02 017 0500 or 011 02 017 6008 and 02 017 05022. So those will be coming with Form 10s, and all the backup documentation hopefully will be submitted before our next meeting so that you guys can have a chance to take a look at it and review it and ask any questions. Any questions on the ones that have just been plugged?
Commissioners, any questions, comments, discussion? Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Outreach update.
So,
Moving on to that.
real quick, part of that previously plugged was to go over the Casa Grande well.
And who is this?
This is Windy Flood.
Okay.
I'm just making sure on the agenda we were going to go over per your request, the well that was plugged a couple months ago. We have the pictures and the forms. It's on the agenda.
Oh, great. Go ahead and show
Okay.
that to it.
Thank you.
Yeah, and commissioners, I'll be briefly going over this. This is Andrew Foss. So as Tina said, this well was plugged in April. You can see some of those plug details there. All those plugs were done, of course, according to regulation. And we also have some pictures of the well site just to give you some context here. And a little bit of background, we had to move on this well a bit quicker than the rest because the site was being redeveloped. At the time, I believe it was redeveloped into a solar farm. So we had to move on this well a bit more quickly. So you can see here, this is the pre-abandonment site. The well casing was open to about 10 feet, I believe, and then it was junked. And you can see some of that there. There's just loose gravel, soil. Also deeper on, there was plenty of other junk used to improperly plug the well, including rebar and all sorts of other metal debris. But yeah, this is them setting up the rig on site, getting it ready for abandonment. This plugging procedure actually took a bit longer than we were expecting because of the junk stuck in the well. It took roughly 3 weeks to plug everything and fish all of the junked bits out. You can see here some of those removed pieces of debris that were stuck down in the well. And this is the well during abandonment. Let's see. And then this is them completing the abandonment, plugging in abandonment, and welding that surface marker on. And I believe after that is all of the logs, which I won't go over, but you can review those if you're interested. But yeah, that's the summary of the work completed at this site.
When was that well originally drilled?
I believe it was drilled in 44, and I believe actually one bit I might have jumped over there. There was one interesting thing about the construction was that there was a clay casing used. I'm assuming that's because it was during World War II, so steel would have been at a premium. You can see it there. I think it was used as either the conductor or surface casing. So yeah, essentially it's been open since then.
Thank you. Commissioners, are there any questions? Any comments? Thank you. I appreciate that briefing.
Okay, I just turned off my audio. Go ahead.
Uh,
Aye.
It's good.
okay, great. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda then.
Frank, Mr. Chairman, this is Jim Ballard. Do we need to approve their Form 10 officially?
Good question. AAG Zeiss, do we need to do that?
It probably would, let's dot our I's and cross our T's. I mean, it's already been done, but it may be an idea. Commissioner Ballard has a good idea on that one.
Okay, what form of a motion would that take? Just
a motion to approve the plugging.
Okay. Do I hear a motion?
Well, Mr. Chairman, this is Jim Ballard. Since I started this, I guess I'll do it. I move that we accept the Form 10 documentation with nice pictures and approve the plugging of the Casa Grande well.
Is there a second?
This is Mike Conway. I second it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, it's been approved. Let us move on to the next item on the agenda.
So the outreach that we've been performing, there's not a big update on that. We will be getting the list of wells that we have not given access to the commissioners for potential help on granting access to these wells. They're all private, obviously, but that will be coming within probably next week.
I understand that one of these wells is producing methane. Is that correct?
Yes, we've also would like to discuss with Rick Zeiss at the AG's office to have them send a letter to the private well owner to see if they can get a little more traction for us.
And go ahead,
no, go ahead.
So here we in the past in other programs have had very good luck in sending an AG letter requesting access. This would just be in the form of a license, what I call a one and done. I'm going to work with Andrew Foss in regards to the location, the owner, and we're going to do a letter to them and see if we can get some access and get this taken care of.
What has been the issues with the owners of the property
Basically, the landowners have not been signing our access agreements that we've sent them to get these wells plugged. They have objected to having us on their lands.
Okay. And this is what part of the state mostly?
Well, there were a number of sites that we've had some issues with. I believe 4 Most of them were in the northern parts of the state, so Coconino, Navajo counties in that
Okay.
area.
Okay, great. Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions on this? Any comments, suggestions?
Well, Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Ballard. Of course, the commission has lawful authority to enter any property and examine wells. Not probably only on an emergency basis, I guess. Would that include operations or access with heavy equipment? But either approach should really work. I think that we clearly have the legal right, but if it's, for instance, not a Navajo Nation land, I'm not sure if that's not a little less clear. So leave it to the legal expert.
So here's what a way I look at it is I've already read this, briefly read over, and it allows access for inspection, but plugging a well is a bit step beyond, and therein lies my concern.
Right.
My goal is to keep the Oil and Gas Commission out of litigation for trespass. I don't want us all thrown in jail. And that's the reason I'm stepping forward and going to help with the letter. There are some legal theories we could use. One is nuisance. If we get to that, I would really rather just get in contact with these people and see what it's going to take. And again, we do a lot of access agreements, for everything from licenses to easements. And we've had great success in the past where the AG is not knocking on someone's door, but making contact and requesting it. And if not, there's other things we can consider in the future. My thought is let's start with the easiest first, and that's just a letter. And if necessary, I will have my phone number. They can call me. I can talk to them. If one, though, is off-gassing methane, that's a bigger concern, and there are other ways we can get in there and take care of that.
One other thought here that we could do for the future is look at our rules and the statutes and contracts that are put out there so that when original permission is given to get onto the property to drill a well in the first place, that gives us authorization to get on the property, no matter who owns it at the time, to do plugging if it is abandoned inappropriately. Can we do that?
Without being too much of a legal dweeb about this, two different types of access. One's a license, one's an easement. License is what I call one and done. Plugging is a perfect example. We're going out there, we're going to spend 5 days, and then we're done, and we no longer need access. Versus, I want access now and in the future. That's an easement. Only an easement gives you that enforceable right. A license is approval. Easements are interest in land. Most people are in the northeast or north of Black Canyon aren't going to be really, to my experience, aren't really proponents of easements. They don't want the government anywhere near their property, and that's the dichotomy here in trying to develop an entrance and exit strategy. I'm not sure that you're going to get someone to sign an easement. If they would, I'd draft it. I can draft an easement and see what we can do with it.
I was not thinking of an easement. I was just thinking of a one and done at the end if it is abandoned.
The problem is once a property transfers ownership, you lose there's a couple different ways you can lose the right to enter property on a license. One is the owner says, I don't want you here anymore. And he either does it orally or with a writing. And the second is transfer of property because the person who gave you authority is no longer in a position and you no longer have their authority.
Okay.
And I know this is nitpicking, but its ugly head arises on a regular basis in my other practice with ADEQ. And that's where I would love to have something to say you can always come back in. And maybe that should be part of our access agreement under a license if we're going to do a writing. But licenses are revocable at will. So I'm not sure how to really drill down and get us what we really need.
Okay.
Hey, Frank, we have a hand raised. This is Wendy. I think they have a comment or question.
Let's leave that till we get to the public section.
Okay. All right. So whoever raised their hand, thank you. Hold your question. Thanks, Frank.
Let's move on to the next item on the agenda. I think it's where are we? The new plugging applications.
Yes. So Andrew,
Yes, so we have, commissioners, we have four Form 9s for you for application to plug and abandon additional orphan wells. And I will let our contractors who are overseeing that work go over the details of these forms.
but the first one is Lockhart Babbitt. This is Wendy.
Hi, this is Melissa Mosey from HydroGeoChem. We are submitting this Form 9 to plug this well. It is north of Flagstaff on Gray Mountain, and we intend to plug to the regulations.
Commissioners, any questions so far? Just jump right in. Okay. Commissioner Nations, any thoughts?
No, I think this certainly needs to be plugged. So I move that we approve that application.
This is Commissioner Ballard. I second the motion.
Do we need to take this one at a time, or can we take this, look at all of them and take them all together?
My preference is one at a time in
Okay.
case there is comment on individual wells, but it's at the commission's, you know,
And that way, which well are we doing first? If we need to be specific there, Commissioner Nations, Commissioner Ballard. Is that the permit number is 03-04?
This is Commissioner Ballard. Yes, Mr. Chairman, we're referring to the LM Lockhart well, which is ending in 05016 on its API number.
Okay, great.
And that is the well in question.
We have a first and a second. Commissioners, I'm going to just do a roll call on this one. Commissioner Nations, how do you vote?
Aye.
Commissioner Harbrand?
Aye.
Commissioner Ballard?
Aye.
Commissioner Conway?
Aye.
Commissioner Thorwald, I also vote aye. It carries. Moving on to item 2 on that.
Is that the
Yeah.
next one?
Yeah.
This is Micah Spencer, Tetra Tech.
6009. Oh, actually, sorry, Micah. It's
The next three wells are all
this one. Yeah.
submitted by us. They're in the same area of Navajo County as the 4 that we plugged in the last 2 weeks. One is actually about 200 feet away from 2 of the other wells that we just completed. That's 60009 that she was showing. It was previously abandoned with heavy mud, which can create channeling. So we're gonna clean that out and then plug according to regulations. And then 2 others are a little bit to the west. Or did you want to do one at a time?
Let's do one at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 6009 here. This was the one that was previously plugged with heavy mud, which can create channeling to the surface. And we already have completed cultural on these wells also. So they're ready to go. We actually have the rig sitting on location from our last P&A to start in the new year on these.
Commissioners, do you have any questions? Any comments? Do I hear a motion?
I move the.
This is Mike Conway. I so
Go ahead.
move.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, it is approved. We'll move on to the next item. 3, if you can tell us about that one. 05021.
Yeah, this well is just east of 277 between Heber and Holbrook. And yeah, to the east of the road there. And this is also on same landowner's property as two of the prior wells. And they have multiple existing plugs, but they did not plug over the freshwater zone in this area, which is the Coconino. So recommending testing those existing plugs and plugging over the Coconino to surface.
Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I'll move for the approval.
I have a second.
Nations.
We have a first. Do we have a second?
This is
Second,
Mike
Fire
Calloway,
Robin.
second.
Okay,
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Moving on to 405153.
Yeah, so this well is pretty similar. They have an existing plug from 750 to 850.
Mhm.
But the Coconino is at 750 and nothing to surface. So we'll test the casing and plug from 750 to surface.
I'll move for the approval. Commissioner Nations.
Is there a second?
Fire Robin, second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nay? Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Let's move on to 4, Chairman's report. I have no new updates to report. I've asked for the state and federal legislation piece to be put in here for all of our meetings. With the change in federal administration and with the new legislative session coming up, I thought this would be appropriate since there's several things that I expected will be coming down the roadway here toward us. So, any questions? Okay. A call to the public. Is there anybody that would like to speak to the commission? Please, I see a hand up. Maurice.
Hello, my name is Melissa Mosey from AZOGCC, and I wanted to speak about the access issues for those 4 wells. They happen to be all assigned to AZOGCC. 2 of them previously we have been investigating since the beginning of the program. The one leaking methane is in Mojave County at Santa Claus, Arizona. This used to be a historic site. Since then, the county has torn down all the buildings on the site. There is an easement on the site already for a cell tower company. We were able to access the property using inspection authority. The cell company is amenable and will give us the code when we access the property. So accessing the well can be done via the cell phone company. However, the owner himself is an older man who, with health issues, who wants to sell the property. And we have tried to impress upon him the fact that if he sells the property, having an open leaking methane well would be a problem. However, he does not want the state on his land. But I feel like if you were to address it from that angle of if you want to sell the property, you need this properly plugged, you would have the most success.
This is Rick Zeiss, Attorney General's office. Thank you very much, actually, in working with Andrew on this and you. I'm going to address that in my letter, that if there's an interest in selling, that, you know, we strongly urge that the issue be resolved before selling the property.
Thank you. I just wanted to give you that extra information.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the public that would like to address the commission? Hearing none, let's move on to item 6. Is there anything that any of the commissioners would like to have on the future agenda items or the staff. Hearing none, let's move on to announcements. Are there any announcements? Hearing none, let's move on to adjournment. What time is it here? This meeting of the Arizona Oil and Gas Conservation Commission is concluded at 11:10 a.m. Thank you all.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you,
How-
commissioners, for your time.
Have a wonderful holiday.